Today, a tidbit on culture. So, in a startup.
One of your favorite subjects.
I know, I love culture. So when you're starting a company, obviously the first person you hire is for us, it was a chief culture officer.
Which, by the way, I knew nothing about or wasn't on the same page as you when you said there was just two of us, to be clear.
Just two.
And we were married and had a pretty good dynamic. And Jason wanted to meet with David Sawyer, who is just absolutely brilliant with culture. This is back in 2004. I didn't understand why we needed someone. My point of view was wait until we build something, wait until we have a bigger team beyond two of us. And what changed for me is you said it's a little bit like a garden, that if something is going to grow, so either it's going to be weeds or you can be deliberate and plant something, but you can't be naive enough to think nothing is going to grow until you plant something. So I love that, and that worked for me, and I just trusted you.
Yeah, full. But it's interesting. The garden's a really good metaphor because there's seasons and you need to tend it. You need to tend to it regularly. And so we hired David as our chief culture officer, and it's not a normal thing in startup. You get a product person or a marketing person or whatever.
We just consulted a few days a week as we were getting going.
But it was brilliant because he coached us about how to hire, how to fire, how to have hard conversations, how to fight fair. It was fantastic. We got a 360 review system live, literally people standing around. It was fantastic, giving feedback. And that was a level of trust. But today we wanted to share one particular question that we used in an interview.
Yeah, so our interview process was very long for every single role because, people are what makes the company tick, obviously. So, but of all the questions that we would ask and all the multiple rounds of interviews, there was only one that had a kind of quote wrong answer.
A pass-fail.
Yeah, which was interesting because I didn't go through the process, which I would have loved to have, in a way,
she would have failed. It would have been awful. It's so awkward.
But, and it was from David, and he had said, just kind of casually asked, do you think that most people, given the circumstances, would want to do their best at work? And it's interesting because people kind of could pause and think about it. But if you say no, it actually says a little bit about how you think about the world, and that you think you do your best, but everyone else is trying to kind of scam the system, or
they're a bit lazy, or they're not really committed.
And that kind of can infect the team's perspective. And interestingly, now everyone's working remotely on Zoom and whatnot. But in 2004, most people went to the office. But because we had, we hired customers and parents of young babies, there was lots of working from home, which was quite new and not common back then. So we needed people who would assume the best, that if their colleague was working from home, they were getting their stuff done.
Yeah, so that industrial age thing of, well, if I can't see you, I'm not quite sure if you're working, is pretty old school. And so that question helped delineate, that's a person we want in the group, that's a person probably we don't. So we would love to hear your great interview questions you've been asked as a candidate, questions you asked, because I find it such a fascinating part of any business. It really is a company. All it is a group of people running after the same thing, one hopes. And that's our tidbit for the day.
That's it.
Until 2 days from here. See ya.